Hi everyone, welcome to my kitchen. In today's recipe, I'm going to show you how to make a Bharwa Lauki. Bharwa Lauki is a delicious dish where the lauki, which is the bottle gourd, is sliced into roundels and the pulp is scooped out from the center and then stuffed with some paneer masala. And then this is pan fried with just a little bit of oil and then cooked in a Makhani gravy. So without wasting any time, I'm going to show you how to make this delicious lauki, which is stuffed with paneer. So let's begin. So to begin making the stuffing mixture, I'm going to first mix out some ingredients into my paneer. First, I'm going to chop in the green chilies. I like to add a little bit of chili into the stuffing, and green chili actually tastes really nice. So, and finally chop it so that it doesn't, you don't bite it into when you're actually biting into the stuffing. Okay, so just finely chop in the green chilies. So I'm going to add this green chili into the crumpled paneer. So I have some crumpled paneer here and the green chili there, and now the besan. Okay, so besan helps in binding. So when you stuff it in, it holds, and pan fried, the paneer filling won't just come away. It'll hold itself and then it tastes nice as well. So it's similar to how you make koftas. A little bit of flour is required for binding. I'm going to add in a pinch of salt and some garam masala as well. Okay, so I'm just going to mix this all up and check for salt to taste. You can add kasuri methi into this. It tastes really nice if you add kasuri methi. But I'm actually going to add kasuri methi into the makhani gravy. So this is just going to be plain and simple with green chilies and salt. So now that the paneer stuffing mixture is ready, I'm going to show you how to slice up the lauki and peel the skin first. Slice up the lauki, remove the pulp from the center, and then we'll stuff this inside. So I'm just going to be using half a lauki, but depending upon the quantity you're making, you can either use like the complete lauki, which will give me about 10 pieces. You can actually have more by ensure that you buy like a thin one, which is really handy because then you can get nice small roundels. But if you get a large one, you can still work with that like I have now. And but it would just be that your roundels, the Bharwa Lauki, will just be a little large. Okay, so I'm just going to peel the skin and then show you how to slice it and stuff it. Keep the skin to the side. You can actually use the skin, chop it up finely, and then make a chutney out of this, and it tastes really nice. Add in some roasted methi seeds, coriander, red chili, coconut, and some imli, and then make a chutney out of it. It tastes really nice. So now I'm going to slice it and ensure that the lauki is slightly thick, because if you slice it too thin, then it will just break away when you're cooking it in the pan. So now that I've sliced up my lauki, notice that it's fairly big. What I'm going to do is to take out the pulp. I'm going to keep, don't go very too much close to the edge, but just a little bit in the center. Just a little bit part of the center that you want to remove. You want to keep some of the pulp towards the end because that is nice. And don't throw away this pulp. You can in fact save this pulp and add it into your dal or any other sabzi, and it will taste really nice, okay, because this pulp is extremely nutritious. Or just blend it into a juice along with some ginger and carrots, and you can use the pulp that way. Okay, so I'm just going to pulp this out. So now I'm going to stuff these lauki rondels with the paneer masala, and we'll just stuff it. You will notice that it comes to the other side. Just ensure that you press it so it just firmly just sits inside this, and then it'll just come out and it will not fall out at all. Okay, so and once we cook it, because there is besan inside, it'll bind itself and it'll just hold itself beautifully. Just going to push it out, spread out the lauki. And in fact, these lauki, if you don't put it into a makhani gravy, you can also serve it as an appetizer. It becomes a really healthy appetizer when you have parties, and it tastes really nice. In fact, you can make it and keep it, and all you have to do is to warm it and then sprinkle some bhujia or sev on the top and chaat masala, some chopped onions, and it'll taste really nice. Okay. So now the next step, now that I've filled up all the laukis, is to place them on a preheated pan and cook them on medium heat, and keep flipping and turning occasionally till you find that it's cooked well on both the sides. You will know when it is cooked when you actually prick in a little bit of knife in between, and then it feels a little soft. So I'm going to now drizzle some rice bran oil over the Bharwa laukis and cook them on medium heat until, as I said, it's just lightly tender on both the sides. Okay. Typically, Bharwa Laukis are deep fried, but here I'm pan frying them and cooking it in rice bran oil. Rice bran oil is essentially an oil that's made from the bran of the rice, and it's rich in vitamin E and antioxidant, which comes from oryzanol. Okay, so it's good to use like good cooking oils. It's also friendly for the heart as well. And I'm going to, cover the pan, and also, yes, sprinkle a little bit of salt so the lauki will get cooked as well. So because the lauki doesn't have some salt, I'm just going to sprinkle some salt and allow this to pan cook for about 3 to 4 minutes. Sometimes it might take longer based on the quality of your lauki and how thick you've cut it as well. So the lauki has been cooking for about 3 to 4 minutes, and notice that the lauki's got some moisture on the top and it's cooked, and I kept flipping and turning while I was cooking the lauki, and then covered it back again so that it cooks well on both sides. Okay, so when you press it a little bit, it'll be soft and it won't be hard anymore, and if it's a little firm, don't worry. So as the lauki sits covered inside the pan, the heat and the moisture will continue to cook it a little bit and not too much. Okay, so when we add it into the makhani gravy, it'll just be right. So I'm just going to close this, keep it aside, and then show you how to make the makhani gravy. So now to begin making the makhani gravy, I'm going to be first grinding all my spices. Very simple set of spices, and it's going to be made without onion and garlic. And it's really simple. And into my mixer grinder, I'm going to add in the red chilies. You can add green chili as well. So I'm going to add some cloves, some cardamom, which is elaichi, some kaju with cashew nuts. You can also add badam, and some ginger. Okay, so I'm going to blend all of them together into a smooth paste. I'll add just a little bit of water and then blend them into a smooth paste. And that's how your the spice masala will look. So I'm going to take this now and then cook it in the pan along with some tomato puree and masalas. So into my preheated pan, I'm going to add in a little bit of rice bran oil. So I'm going to add in this ground masala into the oil, and I'm going to give it a little stir. We don't have to cook it too much because it's just simple spices. There's no onion or garlic that we have to saute it. I'm going to go ahead and add my masala straight away into the spice mixture, and which is the turmeric powder, some garam masala powder, coriander powder. I like adding a little extra of coriander powder, and some red chili powder to taste. Remember, we also ground red chili, so just be careful. And also the Bharwa Lauki also had some green chilies. So I'm going to add in the salt and a dash of sugar. You can also add honey. Adding a dash of sugar to the makhani gravy always tastes nice, but you can also add honey and it tastes great as well. So I'm just going to give this a quick stir and allow the flavors to come through. You just want all the spices to get well combined into the cashew nut and the spice gravy. It's all well combined. And to this, I'm going to add in the tomato puree. Okay, so this is freshly made tomato puree, which I've made at home. And what I did was this is pre-cooked tomatoes. I boiled the tomatoes in the pressure cooker, and once it was boiled, cooled it, removed the skin, and then pureed it, and then you have a fresh tomato puree right there for you. Ensure that you use ripe tomatoes, red ripe tomatoes, to give it a nice rich red color. Okay, and to the makhani, we call it the makhani gravy, which essentially means a gravy that it is made out of makhan. But this time I've used like a rice bran oil, and the rice bran oil is very heart friendly and it's good for us. It's rich in antioxidants and vitamin E as well. So cooking in just because we have added cashew nuts and all the spices, the addition of makhan is really not required. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a stir and give this makhani gravy a brisk boil for about a couple of minutes, and then I'll add in a dash of cream to add that color, and then I'll show you how to serve this delicious makhani gravy. So notice that the makhani gravy has been bubbling for a bit. Since it's already pre-cooked tomatoes and there's no onion and garlic, we don't need to really boil it for a long time. It's now ready. I gave it a taste and it tastes really nice, perfect amount of sweetness and salt. The last thing that is going to add a touch to this makhani gravy is the kasuri methi, and this is essentially dried fenugreek leaves, dried methi seeds that you can easily do it at home. It's really simple. Just peel out the methi leaves from it and then put it in a newspaper and then just air dry it in a non-sunny place, and then your kasuri methi will be ready. Okay, and kasuri methi adds delicious flavors to the makhani gravy. So now that it's done, I'm just going to go ahead and serve it and show you how to place the Bharwa Lauki and just before serving. So I hope you enjoyed watching the recipe of how to make the Bharwa Lauki in a makhani gravy. Well, one thing that I didn't add towards the end was the cream, and if you wish you can add the cream while we are doing the makhani gravy and then add it, so it gives a nice richness. But since I added cashew nuts, I gave it a taste and it tasted really nice. So I hope you enjoy making this. It's really healthy and it makes a great appetizer as well, or you can serve it along with some fulkas or even a jeera pulao for dinner or when you have some guests at home. It's different and it's delicious. Do give your feedback in the comments below and I look forward to hearing back from you. Until then, until next time, happy cooking and healthy eating.